Did you know that Eve has made a stunning climb from the bottom to now being the 7th highest win rate hero? And in fact, during the recent MLBB Grand Finals, out of 7 games, he was banned in 1 game and picked 5 times. What do you think is the reason for Eve's sudden increase in win rate in high rank and pick rate in the pro scene? First of all, Suyu's release to the game had a huge impact on the meta shift this mid-season. Because of him, more heroes like Alpha are likely to be picked in this meta, as Alpha shows that he can go toe-to-toe with Suyu.
Yeah, well, they're gonna duo here. That's too much!
And because of that, Eve has now become a perfect choice today, as she serves as one of the best counters for melee heroes, especially fighter junglers. Eve is the best mage to counter fighters and tanks because her skills apply multiple slows, making it very difficult for heroes to move and escape from her abilities once caught. And about her skills, there are 3 consecutive buffs for Eve's abilities that seem to be ignored, because players believe that the size nerf of her ultimate is too much. But actually, these buffs made a bigger impact on Eve's comeback. The first one is the slow effect from the swipe in his ultimate, which they increased to 50%. Next is the buff on her first skill, which is a game changer for Eve. They added so much damage to it. And the great thing is that you don't need to target the enemy in the center to receive maximum damage, unlike the old Eve, which needed to be centered. And then the recent buff to Eve's first skill again, along with an increased slow effect on her second skill. With her first skill now providing higher bonus damage, the poke and burst damage type of Eve has shown up in the meta. That's why it's normal to see Eve without the Ice Queen wand and enchanted talisman, and instead, the glowing wand and wishing lantern are now her core items, as they maximize the damage of her first skill. But before using Eve, here are the important things you need to know. Although Eve cannot see the enemy directly using her first skill, she can detect it using the stacks of her passive. The stack will add up whenever you hit an enemy with your skill. Although Eve's second skill will reveal if there is an enemy in a bush, it's not advisable to use it for checking bushes, because it has a high cooldown and could be better utilized elsewhere. However, you can use the second phase of your second skill, same as your first skill, to check if there is an enemy. Swiping in your ultimate only deals a small amount of damage, and its main purpose is to slow the enemy. So just use one swipe to slow them, then tap repeatedly to maximize the damage. The taps have a slower interval, so make sure to spam the tap button to avoid missing any seconds. Your initial swipe and tap count is 15, but you can stack this up to 25 with the additional 10 counts from your passive stacks. As I mentioned earlier, Eve is very effective against short-range heroes and heroes that don't have any dashes or skills that can increase movement speed. Heroes without dashes will struggle to escape from the real-world manipulation, because it applies a massive amount of movement speed reduction in combination with her second skill. Not only does it apply a slow, but it also deals a decent amount of damage, and has a long-range AoE, so squishy heroes will have a hard time against Eve even from a distance. Eve is weak against assassins, but if you really want to play her, utilize Flicker to avoid being picked off quickly. But it's important to remember that a skilled Eve cannot be easily countered by someone who is not proficient with the Eve counter they are using against her, so your hero mastery is what you need to focus on. But you have no escape from this kind of Guinevere. These are Eve's first 3 items, and we will reveal the other 3 one by one during her gameplay. Since we will no longer build Enchanted Talisman, we will replace it with Mana Boots, because Eve has high mana consumption. Helcurt and Yin are going to be a real problem for us, so Flicker is definitely going to be a lifesaver here. In the first minute, I like to leash the jungler using my first skill, instead of clearing the mid-wave with my second skill. This helps the jungler reach level 4 faster, which can really set the pace of the game. I always try to help the jungler with the Litho Wanderer after clearing the first wave, but Aurora's already here, so let's poke her to force her away from the Bulbasaur. Oh, that's unfortunate. This is because Aurora delayed us. She needs to be punished. She wasted her flicker here. Too much coffee, I think. we're going to forget about Aurora now, because our main goal is to make Nathan suffer. And now, I'm trying to fake my recall back to base so we can surprise Nathan.
I do not seek truth. There is no escape.
Now, we're going for the turtle take, and it will be tough because Helkert can easily jump in and secure it with Retribution, but we're going to do our best to zone them away using real-world manipulation. Too bad Helkert went for me instead of the turtle. This guy wants revenge. But that was a good trade for me, I suppose. Now we're back to clearing, and we'll set up to gank Natan again after. But it looks like Mia can handle it on her own now. And suddenly, a wild Aurora appears. Hopefully Helkert isn't here.
Civilizations rise